Imagine how great it would feel if every time you talked about your idea or your business or the cause that you're trying to advance, if you knew that the very people that you wanted to reach would be excited about what you're saying and want to do whatever it is that you want them to do. Man, that's a great thought. But it's not reality, is it? The truth is that too many great ideas are being tuned out today by the very people who need to hear them the most. Now, this is incredibly frustrating if you're the person with the idea, because you want to get traction, you want to help people, you want to make their life better, and yet they're just not hearing you. If that is you, then rather than continue on day after day, week after week, struggling to get your idea out there, I want to encourage you with the element used by the best communicators and leaders for thousands of years. And I'll summarize it with 3 words. Start with who. Starting with who is all about pushing aside that innate human propensity to talk about ourselves all the time, to make people say, look at us and see how important we are. To push that aside and get into the heart and the mind of the people that we are actually trying to help. Start with who is a principle that I learned during the debacle that was my dating experience throughout my 20s. Friends and family watched me struggling to find love with the same satisfaction that one gets from, say, driving by an auto accident. I'll tell you my strategy, and you tell me if you can figure out what the major flaw in it was. Meet a girl, and try to impress her with all the accomplishments, the stories that I'm most proud of that I've collected throughout my life. Then, of course, name drop celebrities that I'd met along the way, sprinkle in some stories of exotic travel experiences that I'd had, and, of course, when appropriate, and I always thought it was appropriate, talk about high school sporting awards that I'm still kind of proud of. After one failed relationship after another, I realized that the problem was facing me in the mirror every single time. I got a second chance in my early 30s when a friend came up to me and said, John, I found a girl for you. She's beautiful, she's smart, and I think you two would hit it off really well. So please don't screw this one up. So I said, okay, it's a new day. I'm going to try something different. Rather than just talking about me, I'm going to take an interest in her. So we got to the first date, and I learned that she was a teacher and that she had all these career goals of what she wanted to do. I asked her why teaching inspired her and what she liked about what she did and different kids that she was passionate about helping. That got me to the second date. Second date, we talked about her family. She was really interested in her family, and so I wanted to learn all about them, their names, their interests, their different connection points. So I would drive away, and as I got home after these dates, I would actually make a note on my phone of all the different things that she was talking about. Like on the third date, I learned about the places she wanted to travel in her life and some things on her bucket list, experiences she wanted to have. Went home and wrote all those down. I mean, eventually it got a little weird. Like one time I was like, well, what's your favorite food? She was like, lasagna. And I said, well, what do you like about lasagna? She's like, well, it's like the meat to cheese to noodle ratio. I think that I care most for. And then I learned that this was actually almost too far. I almost didn't make it to the next round. But thankfully, I did. And I remember at one point, after many dates, looking at this list that I'd collected and said, I think I can help this girl get all these things that she wants. I can help her become the person that she wants to be. And I realized if I could help her become who she wants, that she would help me become who I want. My friends, the principle worked. The strategy was successful. We got engaged. We got married. 6 years later, we have 3 beautiful daughters. Now, I'm not here to give dating advice, but I think the principle makes sense when you think about it. Starting with who is all about thinking about the other people that you're trying to impact, that you want to help. And rather than just talking about ourselves, helping them. Starting with who, I understand, may fly in the face of a very popular TED idea. I mean, it's one of the most watched TED Talks. It's a best-selling book. Start with why, I believe, is a very important thing to do. You got to climb the mountain and you got to find out, what is my purpose in life? What are my core beliefs? What do I want to achieve? And that's all very important. But when you come back down the mountain and it's time to talk about what you want to do, you've got to change, because you'll find that people just don't care about your why as much as you do. I mean, your mom cares about your why. She always wants to hear about it. Your spouse pretends to care about your why. But the rest of us, like the people that you really want to help, I mean, we're so busy doing our own lives. We just don't have time to hear about everybody's story and everybody's why. Life is busy enough. So how do you reach those people, the ones you actually want? You start with who. Let me show you the difference between starting with why and starting with who. And I think you can make a choice of which one you think is more compelling. And I just chose any random thing that's a part of my daily life, just as a case study that we'll use as an example here. And it's something that my grandparents would have never seen coming, something that I know my parents won't be utilizing to its full potential, but something that I see is a very important part of my everyday life. In fact, if I ever left this thing at home and carried about my day, I'd be a total mess, wondering what could happen with now that I don't have it. You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about my stain-removing pen. This is a powerful little device here. How do you market something as powerful as this? Well, let's try the two approaches. There's the traditional approach, put it in the middle of a table, a marketing meeting, and a bunch of people now have to say, how do we introduce this product to the market? How do we get people excited about it so they want to buy one? So they have to take some ideas. Well, it's an innovative product. No, there's nothing like it. Okay, somebody write that down. They put on the whiteboard, we are innovators. And they think, okay, what else can we say? Well, we're not just a new company. I mean, we've been around for decades. We've been cleaning clothes for years and years. Okay, so we've been around for a long time, and we're a leader in our industry. Yes, that's a great idea. Somebody write that down too, yes. And then they think, well, what else can we say? Well, we've won all sorts of awards. Well, list the awards. Get them all down there. These are important. Has anyone here been to jail because of this business? No? Okay, we're trustworthy. Okay, put that down too. And then they're all high-fiving each other. There's so much energy in the room. What does it say? We are an innovative company, an industry leader, #1 recommended detergent. We've won these awards, and we are trustworthy and true. So buy our pen. How many of you find that compelling? Why don't we try a different approach? Why don't we say, who is this pen for? I'll tell you who it's for. It's for the kind of people who have a big presentation that day, and they insist on wearing their favorite shirt. They don't have a backup shirt because they only have, by definition, one favorite. So they bring that. But they also love coffee. And so they want to bring a coffee to work that day. And so as they're drinking, they're taking a major risk because should any of that coffee end up on their shirt, that's how reputations get built, is the guy who stains his shirt every day coming to work. And then all of a sudden, now you've got to give a presentation, but you're so embarrassed because you're trying to cover a stain the whole time. I mean, giving a public speech is difficult enough, but it's very difficult when all you're thinking about is how you're going to get away with this without anyone else seeing it, and that fact that everyone else is probably thinking, oh my goodness, they look like a fool. So imagine if there was a product that existed where you could actually, no matter what you were drinking, no matter what you had for lunch, you could drink soup passionately and confidently for lunch, or have it for lunch and not worry about getting any of it on because you will be covered. Imagine if you could have the confidence and the assurance and the peace so you didn't have to be stressed over lunch or drinking your morning coffee. Oh, some of you are like, I got to get one of those things, right? Some of you are like, I already have one. I need two, one for work, one for the car, just in case. That's the power of starting with who. And we can all do it because we all have these ideas that can really help people, but they're going to tune us out when we just talk about ourselves and how important we are. But there's other benefits to starting with who. In fact, there's 3 more that I'd like to talk about. Starting with who gives you a target. Secondly, it gives you a market. And thirdly, you have a metric. Let's talk about the target. There's like 7 billion people in the world today. That's just a lot of people, and you're not going to be able to reach all of them. In fact, my fear is if you just try to share whatever it is that you want to share with everybody, you're going to reach nobody. A friend of mine once said, if you try to be everything to everyone, you're going to mean very little to a lot of people. If you try to be everything to everyone, you're going to mean very little to a lot of people. You can't reach everyone, but you can reach some people. I mean, these are the people that you know. You show up for them, and they show up for you. You understand them. You know what they're struggling with. You know what they're passionate about. You're interested in the things that they're interested in. And when you speak, you know how to talk to them. And you know how to listen to them as well. You can help those people. Sometimes they're organized around a passion, a cause. Sometimes they're organized around a piece of technology or something in business that they need. Sometimes it's a health concern, but there's something that is rallying these people together. Find them, and you will have a target, so you're not trying to just speak to the entire 7 billion people in this world. So you have a target, but you also have a market. Because these people you've identified, they're struggling with something. In this broken world that we live in, there's something that's keeping them up at night. It's frustrating them. They're stressed about it. And they will do anything to have that problem taken away. They will give their time, they'll give their attention, and they will give their money to somebody who can provide a solution to it. And that's what we call a market. There's a problem in the world. We need someone to provide a solution. So opportunistic entrepreneurs and businesses and anybody who sees that I want to right this wrong in the world, they say that's an opportunity for change. There's a market there, and I want to solve it. In this world, when technology seems to be disrupting everything, people are wondering, will my industry exist? I'll tell you, it will exist if you have a clear who, because there will always be people who have problems that are looking for solutions. Starting with who gives you a target, gives you a market, and thirdly, it gives you a metric. This is a bit of a transition, and you may not have seen it coming, but I want to talk about your life, not just in the world of your ideas, but your life in general. I've been in the TED community for a while. I know the kind of people that watch videos and attend TED events. They're the kind of people who want to make an impact in the world. They want to live a life of purpose. They want to feel like their life has some significance. But how do you know if you're doing it or not? I mean, what's the metric that you could use to say, yes, I made an impact in the world? Some say, well, if I can make a lot of money, that would be great. But are the happiest people always the richest? Are the most successful people the ones who have the most money? Of course not. We got tons of studies of people that are not happy that have tons of money. So what could it be? Well, let's ask the question, what is it that you care most about? I mean, your best memories in life and your biggest regrets, what do they all revolve around? It's usually people. When someone's on their deathbed in their last days, what are they wanting to have? Like, bring all my money around and just comfort me in this money. Well, of course not. We ask for the people that matter to us. So how do you measure the kind of people that you impact? Well, one way to do it is at a funeral. Someone told me that you can always measure a life well lived by the kind of people that gather at someone's funeral. So who do you want to have at your funeral? Now, you want your friends and your family to be there, of course, but that's only the front 2 rows. I mean, who else do you want to come? Who do you want to take time out of their busy schedule, fly from out of town, so they can gather to celebrate the impact that you made, the life that you lived? I mean, who do you want to stick around later to eat egg salad sandwiches and share stories of how you impacted them? These are the people that you want to be impacting with your work, your Monday to Friday, your 9 to 5. We spend so much time at our jobs, at our work. We want to know that we made a real impact. So start with who you want to be at your funeral, and you will have a good metric to say, throughout my life, I want to make sure that I have a full funeral, that it's a celebration of a life well lived, of real people that I provided real solutions for and made an impact in their life. That's what starting with who does. You get your target, you get your market, and you get your metric. If you want to start with who today, let me ask you 3 questions that you can now work through so that you can get a great start from here on in. The first question I want you to ask is, who are the people that I can make the biggest impact on? We call this a niche, we call this your tribe, your target market, your ideal client, whatever you want to call it. These are the people that you can help. And you can start serving them and leading them to where they want to be. You know their language, you know their struggles. So who are those people? Secondly, what problem are they struggling with that I can solve? What problem are they struggling with that I can solve? You know, a lot of us think that we sell products and services, but actually we're just offering solutions to problems. We're all offering solutions to problems. And when you start talking about those problems that you can solve, people will pay attention. You'll get the attention that your ideas need. See, a lot of times we just talk about what we do, and we forget that it's actually, we need to get people's attention and talk about the problem that exists in the world. We've just learned to cope with over the 5,000 marketing messages that we hear every single day, and we've just learned to tune stuff out. So I don't want people to tune out your ideas. I don't want them to tune out your message. I want them to listen. So you focus in on that problem, and they will give you laser attention. Thirdly, what is the transformation that you can offer? You know, we all wake up every single day wanting to be a little better, wanting to do better, wanting to solve some problems. So where do you take people from A to B, from where they are to where they want to be? If you start talking about that, then they'll start listening. Well, what do you have to offer that? Maybe it's a course, maybe it's a piece of technology, Maybe it's a club or an organization they need to be a part of. Maybe it's a donation that they need to give. Maybe it's a pill they need to take or a program. Whatever it is that you offer to take them from where they are to where they want to be. Start talking about that, get good at that, and you will have the audience and people's attention that you need. If you answer those 3 questions, you will have your who, and you'll have a clarity to make the kind of income and impact that you really want in life. If you don't, this is my fear. You're just going to continue to struggle. You're going to be mad at people for not listening to you. You're going to be frustrated that your ideas don't get the attention that they deserve. And maybe even your funeral is going to be empty. But imagine how great it would feel if all of us saw our work lives and the things that we're trying to accomplish in life, if we saw it differently, as we can show up every single day and provide solutions to people and help them get to where they want to be. How would we see business in general differently? That every business exists to solve people's problems and help them become the people that they want to be. I want you to win. I want your ideas to spread. I want you to be recognized. I want great things and to help real people. I'd love to see that start now. If you want to get your why, you've got to start with who. Thank you.